So it's the final game of the season today, and can we beat that championship points record set by Reading of 106 points in a season? Hello and welcome back to the Lincoln Loco, and the short answer to that question is no, we can't beat that points record. Today we've got the final league game against Brentford. We'll play that game and then we'll do a little bit of a talk about what we need to do to get ready for the Premier League. But since you were last with us, we've played 3 games so far. Ipswich, a 2-0 win there. We beat Blackburn also 2-0 as well, but we can't get the points record because we had an absolutely atrocious game against Barnsley where we lost 5-1. Really not sure what went wrong that game, but clearly something did because we lost 5-1. It was a really, really poor team performance from start to finish there, so wasn't the best. It's sort of, since that Newcastle game, well, even that Sheffield Wednesday game actually, we haven't been as sharp as we were before that. We just lost a bit of sharpness. I think we got a bit complacent, and I think teams started to find us out, especially these better teams like Newcastle, your West Broms, your Birminghams this season. In fact, the teams that we have lost to have all been in the playoffs. West Brom, Birmingham, Aston Villa and Barnsley are all in the playoffs. I don't think Newcastle are, but other than that, all those teams are. So I guess we can't be too upset with that because they are high up in the table and they should be winning games and things like that. So it doesn't matter though. We won the league already, so that's fine, isn't it? If we look at the table, we're sitting on 102 points now, so the maximum we can get is 105. So we're going to miss out on the record by a point. West Brom look like they're probably going to secure automatic promotion, but Birmingham could still do it themselves if West Brom lose and Birmingham win, of course. And then Barnsley, Aston Villa, and Huddersfield. They're also, who else did we lose to? I think we lost to someone else, did we not? Oh no, we lost to those 4 teams, isn't it? That's the ones we lost to. So we'll quickly jump into today's game then. So we've got a lot of time after the game to talk about what we're going to do in the future, but a very, very usual side now. Haug starts in goal. David Green is suspended for the last game of the season, so he can't play. So De Silva comes in at left back with Francis and Williams in the middle and Jan Valery on the right. Coyle, Byes and Woodyard start in the middle. Woodyard still somehow playing for me. I just love him. You know, he's only good enough for Sky Bet League 2. He wants to leave the club. His contract ends next season, so he's going to have at least a season of Premier League football, which is very, very nice. So I can tweet him about that, saying you're a Premier League footballer. Anthony Evans starts in that attacking midfield position behind Alore, who is now on 21 goals this season, and the club's top goal scorer this season. Starts alongside Fletcher. Chummer just about getting back to fitness now. He's back in 3 days' time, but he may come on as a substitute, but I don't think we're going to play him. And for the final time this season, kickoff is upon us. We're in the red, they're in the green, grey. I think it's green they're playing in. It's a green they're playing in. I mean, quite frankly, what a season it has been. It has been one of the best. That was a decent shot from Brentford, to be fair there. It was one of the best seasons I've ever had on Football Manager. I really, really cannot explain why we've been so good this season, especially when you consider where we were last season. I mean, last season, the first half we struggled. The second half, we did very, very well. We had a really, really good run of form, which we said if that can carry on into next season for a bit, we could be looking at playoffs as Ashley Fletcher puts us 1-0 up in this game, assisted by Jan Valery, who's back from injury for this game. Yeah, we said if that kind of form continues for the first 5-10 games of the season, of this season, perhaps we can start to think, oh, maybe we'll be in the playoffs mix come the end of the season. However, that form continued until at least way past halfway through the season. And we've always had an unassailable lead at the top of the table, I think. The first 10 games was perhaps closely fought, but then after that we just absolutely went far, far beyond and far ahead of everyone else. West Brom on 91 points will be absolutely kicking themselves. 91 points would have been good enough to win the league every season apart from this season. So they're going to, in fact, to be fair, Birmingham on 87 right now, that would be a pretty good score. I think they would have won the league at least 3 out of the 5 times, I think, if that had happened. So these other teams getting a bit unlucky that we've just been so dominant this season. And I think it's just that the form is carried through. All the players are in the same... Oh, they just hit the post. All the players are in the same core social group, and they have been all season. So we've got a real tight-knit group of players that know how to play with each other. You've seen throughout most of the season, the links between the players, they're all green links, basically. So that means that they're all playing well together. They know what they're doing with each other. Haug makes a fantastic save there from the Brentford attack. And I think it's just that understanding, everyone knowing what we're doing. We've got the tactics just about right. We've managed to get the right amounts of attack and defensive tactics, so that's pretty good as well. And I suppose it's just slotted together nicely, and everyone's doing the right things. And now we've won the league because of it. However, towards the end of the season, we have sort of been found out and we've just run out of steam. We've picked up a lot of injuries actually in these last couple of weeks of the season, last 2 or 3 months, which hasn't helped at all. But we're still doing the business, we're still getting the points, we're still getting the wins, we're still 14 points clear of second place West Brom. We're still miles ahead in goal difference. We've scored a lot of goals. We've had such good defence this season. We've kept so many clean sheets. We've just been really, really good this season. So I think whilst you look at it on paper and think, like, how the hell have we won the league by this much? If you actually look at the finer details of the club, the players, the tactics, everything like that, it probably isn't actually that surprising that we've done so well this season. Josh Da Silva on the ball now as we're trying to build an attack early in this second half now. Plays the ball through to Alare. If Alare can just get the ball onto Jan Valery, who didn't run forward. Why was he not running forward? Doesn't matter though, because Alare ran forward. Can he get his cross in? He gets his cross in, and it's actually turned in for an own goal there by Brentford. David Bentley, the goalkeeper, apparently getting the own goal. They must have put a little touch on it somehow. But that puts us 2-0 up now. It looks like the win is probably going to be safe, although if we think about last episode when we lost 3-2 after being 2-0 up, we're probably not safe at all. Another thing to talk about and think about is our stadium. Now, all season we've been sold out at 10,120. That is the maximum capacity of Sincil Bank Stadium. We're going to the Premier League now. It's the perfect opportunity to ask for a new stadium. However, I want this new stadium to be as big as possible, which means that I don't think we ask for it right away. We do one season in the Premier League. We wait for that season to go through. We have a bigger reputation. That reputation then will hopefully mean that more people want to be a fan of Lincoln, and that will then in turn mean that we have a bigger stadium. So that is kind of what I'm thinking on the stadium front. Unless the board just say, right, we're building a new stadium now, then there's nothing I can really do about it. But I would like to hold off for one season before we ask for a new stadium. Byers on the ball, then through to Coyle. Coyle on the edge of the area to Fletcher. Fletcher's shot hits the post. Could have made it 3-0 there. We're doing pretty well. I mean, it's been an even game in terms of stats, but I think the quality that we have shines through. Yes, they've had just as many shots as us, but the quality of ours are so much better and we create much better chances for ourselves. I think that's another reason why we've just been so good this season. Fletcher once again hits the post or the crossbar, wherever it was there. Again, doing very well, but as the clock ticks down, it's a 3-point for Lincoln and 105 points total. It's the record for Lincoln, actually. And a win today brings us to 33 wins this season, which I forgot to mention. Before we had a bit of a news article in the inbox that came through. It said the current championship record is 32 wins in a season, so 33 wins in a season. It's still a record, so we still got a record. It's just not the points one, which is what we want. And there we go, Lincoln 2, Brentford 0 to cap off one of the best seasons in Football Manager I have ever had. So there we go, a record number of wins for Lincoln. 33 is the championship record, which is pretty cool. Also, what we're going to be doing is we're just going to hold on for another day, because that Doncaster under-18s versus Lincoln under-18s is also a game that if Lincoln win, the Lincoln City under-18s win the under-18s league. So we'll wait and see. They drew. I mean, we didn't want to win the league anyway, so it doesn't matter, does it really? Right, let's have a little look at this squad then. It has been a fantastic season. The goals coming from Chummer and Obialore, 21-17. Ashley Fletcher getting 12, and Anthony Evans getting 10, actually, to be fair. That's pretty good going. Josh Da Silva getting 8 in Paul. He's been fantastic this season, Josh Da Silva. I've been so impressed with him. He's been, I think, my player of the season, actually, if I'm going to be honest with you. He's been my player of the season. He's been so good in that midfield. Really good. And Liam Coyle even getting 5 there as well, so that's pretty decent, to be fair. And Sean Williams getting quite a few. Everyone is scoring goals. That's the thing. Everyone is scoring goals. If we look at assists, Chummer tops out with 16. So he's been the most goal-scoring threat player out. That didn't make sense, did it? But he's been contributing to the most goals, basically, I think, with assists and goals. Obi getting 10 of himself. David Green getting 9 from crosses on that wing. Callum Camp's also getting 9 there as well, to be fair. And George Byers getting a lot of assists as well. So a lot of creativity out there. Average rating-wise, Obialore tops it on a 7.4, which is absolutely phenomenal, actually. He just signed a new contract. I know he's not going to be good enough for the Premier League, but he's signed a new contract, and if he's scoring 21 goals in this league, getting 10 assists and a 7.4 rating, I'm happy to give him a chance in the Premier League. So he's on for another 3 years, but he's got a value of 4.1 million. If someone wants to offer me a lot of money for him, I wouldn't be adverse to say no to that. Joshua Silva, as I said, on 7.28, my player of the season this year. He's been really, really impressive. And Chummer as well on 7.25, really, really good. Most players have been on above a 7, actually, this season. A lot of these players down here haven't played that many games, if you look at that. So we don't have to worry about it too much. But everyone who has played a lot of games this season is above a 7, which is absolutely phenomenal. This then does bring me on to next season's team. Now, we've only got 3 players currently who have got that Premier League quality: David Green, Chummer and Liam Coyle. Liam Coyle and David Green currently on loan from Liverpool. So I am definitely going to look to sign David Green. I think I will probably try and sign Liam Coyle as well because I love him. He's been here for the last 3 seasons now, made over 100 appearances for us, which is quite cool to be fair. However, I don't know if Liverpool are going to let me have him because he's a very good player, but he's our captain as well, so I'd love to get him back in the squad. He's just fantastic. Now, George Byers and Joshua Silva, of course, have been instrumental this season, but neither of them have got that Premier League potential, unfortunately, apparently. So that's where we may be looking to perhaps replace them. But Joshua Silva, as I said, my player of the season, he will have his shot next season. It's George Byers, the one that I'm starting to think, is he going to be the right player for us? I don't know. Ed Francis, again, not sure how brilliant he's been since he's come in this season, so we may try to sign him, but I'm not overly fussed if we don't get him. Roshan Williams there is actually one of the few players with Premier League potential that's not quite there yet. If we sort it by potential, actually, Jan Valery and Roshan Williams, both Championship quality players right now, but have that Premier League potential, so I'm happy to start them next season, which could be a risk. It just depends how quickly they're going to develop to that Premier League standard. Of course, Adrian Classic is the best player potential-wise, so he won't start next season, but he will have game time and we may send him on loan somewhere, so we'll have to just keep tabs on him, basically. And other than that, I think we have to get a whole new team in, basically. So, going on that logic, these are the players that I am happy to start next season, providing that we manage to keep Coyle and Green, for example. Williams, I'm happy to keep him there. De Silva, we'll see how it goes, because he's not quite Premiership quality, but he's played very well this season. The same applies to Alori, not Premiership quality, but played very well this season. Chummer, of course, got that Premier League quality, so he'll be starting next season, I think. Jan Valery is Championship quality, but he's like a mid-Championship player at the moment, not quite top level, so I'm not too sure about that. So these positions are probably where I'm going to be looking to sign players, but I'm going to be looking to sign players everywhere. I also want to get some wingers in because I want to try and play winger formations as well. So there's going to be all sorts going on over summer. It's going to be really, really busy. We've got 25 million to spend, so that's a lot of money, but I think it's going to be very, very hard to recruit because we're Lincoln City. We're not Chelsea. We're not Arsenal. We're not even like a Bournemouth or a Huddersfield, so it's going to be a tough recruitment. No one's going to want to join us particularly, I don't think, so it's going to be a very long and hard summer. That, though, is it for this season of the Lincoln Loco, so make sure you join me next time for when we start the Premier League season, and hopefully we'll have a team good enough to keep us up next season. Thanks very much for watching today's episode. If you've enjoyed it, make sure you do drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and I'll see you next time for more Lincoln Loco action.